great time right now for this to be happening.
Exactly, and I think that the women's evolution in the WWE is a reflection of the women's revolution happening around the world. The more we can share, the better. You know, I think that if we have WWE become big in Saudi Arabia, and WWE is a company that is, you know, having all women's pay-per-views, and if you have the WWE network, you can be able to see, you know, you can see evolution and you can see Crown Jewel, you know, like, so if you're going to buy the all men's pay-per-view, you're going to have access to all women's pay-per-view. Those are just baby steps of how you get people to start, you know, demanding those kinds of things.
I'm gonna put some dirt in your eye.
Some motherfuckers are always trying to ice skate uphill.
Alright. So why don't I just keep, I'm gonna just keep everything to myself, and you know, let's see what this everything, because this got started off last night, and I was kind of like, I was kind of out of it as such, but yeah, let's just like go, so we can just get this filler out the way and see what's going on right here. Alright, but I kind of got like a lot, kind of got like 3, so let me just get started off with it, because I got a lot here. But yeah, so Ronda Rousey compares Vince McMahon to Emperor Palpatine, and then she seems like she also commented on the allegations too. And it said Ronda sparked some buzz with her comments about Vince McMahon. It says Ronda was one of the top stars in UFC before she transitioned to WWE, where she won the Raw and SmackDown Women's Championship. Let me get past this. And of course, we got the allegations, Janelle Grant, sex trafficking and sexual assault allegations. And then apparently her autobiography, which is called Fight, was also kind of, you know, she's talking all this all this bullshit, and you know, getting ready to release a book. So you can kind of put 2 and 2 together. All right, and it said like NXT, you know, she details like NXT was founded by under the control by Triple H's real name, Paul, and in addition to being my in-ring WrestleMania nemesis, he's arguably one of the best professional wrestlers in history and one of the better people on the business side. Ronda wrote, so he's married to Stephanie McMahon, who was daughter of WWE's Empire Palpatine, Vince McMahon. Says Vince took over the company from his father in the early 80s. Spent a better part of 40 years playing a real-life professional wrestling version of Monopoly, buying up and absorbing smaller promotions until... I want to get to the good part. I don't want to just read filler. This is hard sometimes to know where the evil, unethical slimeball character of Vince McMahon played out for the cameras and in the actual questionable ethical, many times sued and multiple times accused of sexual misconduct. Vince McMahon begins. Said that blurred the line between character and reality, and is a recurring theme within the WWE universe. And says right here, she also took another shot. Said elsewhere in the book, Ronda also shared her belief that Vince McMahon likely wishes he could restrict the rights of the way that Saudi Arabia does. Of course, and then she said, pay-per-views are held in major cities like New York, Los Angeles, and Philadelphia, as well as now twice a year in Saudi Arabia, a nation that restricts the rights of women in a way that I'm certain Vince McMahon wishes he could. It's a lot here, as y'all see, but she basically just goes into how WWE is, where sexist, or this frat boy culture that takes advantage of women. But of course, she brings up like, you know, the specific eras, like referring to that attitude and, you know, the ruthless aggression that, of course, that WWE had to put women through, that they've always kept down. This is where shit starts to get funny. I'm not even talking about the part where she said, like, in MMA, where she originally just started, she talks about how in MMA she started beef for publicity, but in WWE it's all fake, that she loves everybody, but oh yeah, except for Bruce Pritchard and John Laurinaitis, they can go fuck themselves, of course, because basically Vince McMahon's cronies. And she, like, right here, because this is where I crack. this is where I start to crack up right here. Like, the only thing that really helped me back was the number of words I was allowed to have in this book. We were contractually held to 9,000 words, and I was going to talk so much more shit, especially about John Laurinaitis and Bruce Pritchard. But our editor said we had to streamline everything and not take a detour on the fuck of these old bastards quest. So there was a lot more to it, but I basically got down to meat and potatoes. I said basically just making herself look like an obvious fucking idiot. That pretty much confirms that she also is not coming back to WWE. And then another thing, but she also says, like in the book, another thing that people don't know, oh god, behind the scenes, oh yeah, how much of a shit show, absolute shit show it is at the WWE. They can't hold the sword over my head and hold me hostage with my own career. And I don't need anything from them, and I don't intend on going back. So I can actually say everything, and I think and feel where everybody else is still held captive by their organization cannot. Like, Ronda, come on, man. Come on, Ronda. And I just, like, I found it also kind of ironic, too, that you're doing a book and, and, you know, and then you're coming out with all this reckless shit about Vince and WWE just because, like, oh my gosh. I said, can we, before I get also, can we please stop pretending also, like, or pretend, you know, once upon a time that these women weren't taken advantage of. They're not victims, alright? Like, they weren't held at gunpoint. They weren't forced to do so and so. So can we please stop with that fucking nonsense? And then they were, you know, WWE is so sexist. They hate women so much to a point that, oh yeah, you went and ultimately went and got a contract with WWE. It's so much so that also, you know, they're, as far as having a culture to where, you know, women is so let down, where you look at the fucking roster, you just like, as I said, I'm like trying to hold so far back from just giggling out, but you know, it's so far so that you were able to also then go back and then do 2 more years with WWE, right? But yeah, they don't. You know, they hate women, right? Though, and they put down one. I said it's just a typical they run to. I said so much so, like, you were main event at WrestleMania, you were world champion on numerous occasions, but WWE is, yeah, they're this and they're that, and yeah, like, we know, like, yeah, like it's the go-to for whatever you want, yeah. And of course, like, but man, it's just, all this shit is just so laughable. And I know I said before, like, I mean, it doesn't really have nothing to do, like, in this particular situation, where, I always thought she was underrated, and I always thought that without that women's revolution, none of that shit would have been possible. I feel like, yeah, like, I think I've said this before too. None of it would have been possible without Ronda. And I think everybody has that well, yeah, they probably won't, like, really give Ronda her credit, but yeah, like, especially her star power. Still, she had that star power at the time, and like was at a point to where, like, yeah, like, none of that shit would have been possible without Ronda. It's like, really Ronda. Like, you're not getting any brownie points. You're not getting any brownie points with this, hun. Where it's like, you're like, people already don't, the community, they already don't like you. So it's like, who really is gonna, who are you expecting to fall on your side? Cause the rest of the IWC, they don't give a fuck about you. They don't care. It's like, I saw, like, it's like, you can see all the comments too. It's like, just purely laughing at her. Like, who were you talking about? Of course, I mean, it's like, she does have a book coming out, so I could, wasn't really expecting that, but, like, yeah. So I guess it's bittersweet, and yeah, I guess this is the last we're seeing of Ronda.